It wasn't until I got up here today that I realised that I'd completely forgotten to bring a second rod. I bought my main trout rod with 4-pound line, but a backup rod or a second bait fishing rod I completely forgot. But I have got a heavy rod in the car because I've been downstream in the King River doing a little bit of filming and a little bit of scouting around with my deeper chirp fish finder, so I'm able to use that today. Look at that. That's an NS1's rod, 10 to 20 pound, with an Abu Revo reel and 50-pound braided line. Folks, I don't usually fish for trout with 50-pound braided line. This is the first. But I reckon I can rig this up so that I can use it today to get me out of trouble. What I've done, I've rigged it up with a running sinker rig. I've got 4-pound line, 4-pound Maxima Ultra Green line off my regular trout rod, which is the other rod I'm using today. And I've tied a leader onto the end of the 50-pound braid. But what I've done, I've tied the end of the braid to this little stick. So I've got 50-pound braid with this sinker running up and down the line freely as far as that stick. That's what gives this rig the name running sinker. The sinker can run all it likes. So that's what gives the name running sinker. And then on the other side of the stick, I've got about 2 feet or 60 or 70 centimetres of monofilament line with a tiny little hook for the worms. The idea of this rig is so that the sinker can sit on the bottom. You've got the sinker for a casting weight to help you cast out into the lake, but then when it sits on the bottom, the fish can pull the line through the sinker, meaning the only resistance comes from the fish or the hook and the rod tip. The fish doesn't feel the sinker, so I've got the sinker to assist with my casting, but the fish doesn't feel the weight of the sinker. Normally you don't use it with 50-pound line, and there's a lot of different ways to tie to rig a running sinker. You can do what I've done now, just put a little stick in, which is usually what I do. It's effective, it works. The downside is if the fish does run with the bait and this little twig here hits a bit of weed or something, the fish will feel resistant. So it's not the best setup, but it's the cheapest obviously, and it's the simplest. You can put a swivel, you can tie this bit to a swivel and then this bit to a swivel. As long as the sinker can't go past the swivel, that will work. Probably the best system of the lot. The problem with the swivel means that you can't move it. The best system of the lot is to go to your local bike store and buy a little bit of valve rubber. You can then poke your line through the valve rubber, then you can get a match. And you can put the match inside the valve rubber, which will pin the line into place. What that means then, if you decide you want to have a longer leader or a shorter leader, all you have to do is pull the match out of the valve rubber, slide the valve rubber to where you want it on the line, then put the match back in. That's the most complex. You've got to go to a bit of trouble to go and buy valve rubber and matches and stuff, but it's also the best and most effective. So we've got the simplest one here with 50-pound line and a 4-pound leader. Not a regular system. We've got a swivel system where you can just tie a swivel to one bit and then the line to the other, and we've got the complex system of valve rubber with a match. They all work very well. Let's put some worms on both of these rods, cast them out, and sit in the sun for a while.